what we're doing here today is I'm going to do like a before and after, talk about before, then ask you afterwards what you thought about the class.
Okay.
So one of the things is I want to say is, why do you think it's so important that you take a class like this today? Have you ever thought about taking a class like this before, or have you taken a class like this?
I feel like we as women need to be able to stand on our own 2 feet and support ourselves in times of trouble, because we don't always have someone with us to protect us 100% of the day. So I think it is important for women to at least know the basics to be able to, in case an emergency happens to us or our children, to be able to handle a situation like that.
Have you ever taken a class or a self-defense class before?
I've taken a couple like karate classes and just some basic self-defense classes in the past, but nothing extensive.
Okay, so going into this class today, I know I haven't told you guys much about it, but what do you think you might learn? What are you hoping to learn? What do you want to take away from this?
Well, I'm hoping to learn if someone's going to come at me with their common a standard, like how they would come at me, and maybe how I could protect myself or be prepared to know that someone would come at me at a certain way.
Okay, and as a mom and a female, I guess, have you ever been in a situation that maybe scared you or made you think, okay, I wish I would have known how to handle myself better?
No.
No, that's
Sorry,
fine.
I don't have anything.
No, that's fine. But being a mom, is there ever a time that you're thinking, okay, I want to be able to be ready to protect myself if I need to, and my daughter? You don't always have your husband around. You may not have somebody else to help you.
Yeah, there's times like whenever you're at the mall and you can't help but have that in the back of your mind, to think if someone was to come up and grab my daughter and she's helpless and maybe she's 2 years old and she can't speak yet, how do I always stay aware of those types of situations, and how would I respond to it?
And the other thing is unfortunately women and men, but women deal with domestic abuse and rape. I mean, in today's day and age, how important do you think it is that women take a class like this, that they're prepared for things like that? Unfortunately, we have to deal with things like that.
Yeah, I think it's very important. I think that we would be naive to think that any of us are not affected by those types of violences and crimes. No matter who we are, we all need to be ready for something like that if it was to happen to us or any of our friends.
Now, let me ask you this. If you were out on the street right now and a man came up to you and tried to attack you, worst possible way, do you think you could fight? Do you think you would be ready to do something to defend yourself?
I honestly, probably not.
Okay.
Like 100% without, I don't feel comfortable saying that I could protect myself 100%.
After taking this class today, what's your thoughts going through your mind?
So it was interesting to see how it was less of a defense as much as it was a protecting yourself. So instead of like actually acting out on the person's movements, you were kind of going with them on their movements and sort of using their strength along with your own to create your defense mechanism.
Now, one of the things you talked about earlier was you're in charge of your own self, protecting your own self. Do you think this class taught you, or like you mentioned earlier specifically, standing on your own 2 feet?
Oh yeah, definitely. This class definitely showed you or helped you learn how much you are in control of your own self, and how to use your own body to protect yourself.
Now, one of the things that I heard about this class, and tell me if you think that it really rang true, was it wasn't only physical, but it was kind of a little bit of mental. He kind of tried to teach us how to play a mental game with our attacker, deception. He kind of used some verbal language. Do you think that kind of got you in the mindset of, okay, I can be prepared for this?
Oh, definitely, because whenever you're thinking about defending yourself, you're probably more thinking about the physical aspects of how to protect yourself from being struck, but not necessarily how to protect yourself from the words being said or the actions, the aggressiveness, and how to use your natural ability and what you automatically think during the process of it towards your defense as well.
Now, some women might say, what, that's not for me, that's really uncomfortable, when he had us in some vulnerable positions, saying some things, but tell other women who haven't taken this class, be like, what, it may be weird, it may be uncomfortable, but it kind of really gets you in the mindset. It teaches you, okay, in that situation, if I play along, I might live. I might survive this.
Yeah, you're definitely out of your comfort zone in a lot of these situations, these role-playing situations, but I think that that is a way to prepare yourself for if that ever does happen. You've already been through the experience of it, not probably to the degree or to the extent, but you're already prepared for how scary that is.
Now, one of the things he did to you earlier, we got it on video, he had you on the ground and you grabbed his leg, or he grabbed you and you were trying to grab him to make him trip, and he did it, but then he kept going at you. It kept going, kept going. I mean, he made you kind of fight for it. What did you kind of think about that?
I kind of, in the back of my head, I was thinking, oh, he's just going to let me go because this is just a role play. But he made me realize that that's not the case in this situation if it's real. You really have to keep going forward and keep trying, to get back at them.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to share? Like, if you were to tell other women about this class in Terre Haute, I mean, it's not your average class. Like, he talked about the whole hand grab. He said that's crap, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what would you say for women, okay, if you're going to take a class, why this class?
I think this class is specific towards females. I think it's very generalized towards women and our responses and how we react naturally to situations. So I think that this class would be a more specific to female self-defense class to take as opposed to any other class.